Now, on our fuel conversation today, we're going to focus on the pricing of petroleum products. Over the years, consumers have complained about cost of fuel, threatening sometimes to vote out governments as a result of it. Adu Yobo is our guest today. He's a business and strategy analyst with the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. And today we're going to learn a little bit about the pricing process and what we end up seeing on the dial at the pumps. Mr. Adu Yobo, how nice of you to join us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you too.
All right then, so let's get started. First of all, what goes into it? What goes into the composition of the taxes and the levies that form part of the retail price?
Well, I like to say that unlike other products where, let's say, you go to the market to purchase rice to come and sell in your shop, you purchase let's say the rice at, let's say, 2 cedis. Let's say you put your little profit on it and then you come and sell. For us, we have what we call the price build-up. And if you can take a look at it, we have what we call the ex-refinery price. We have the energy debt recovery levy, we have the road fund levy, we have the energy fund levy, the price stabilization and recovery levy, primary distribution margin, fuel marking margin, UPPF, before our margins. So all of these come together before we get the final price we have at the retail outlets.
Okay. So talk us through the process that leads us to that final price, now that we understand the tariffs. And the
Great. So all of these taxes and levies that are listed here, from the energy debt recovery levy to the special petroleum tax, all of them are fixed. So the build-up comes to the OMCs or to the LPGMCs like that. So the only thing that we input is how much we bought the fuel for from the BDCs. That's called the ex-refinery price. And then we also fix our margins in there. So that's basically how we arrive at what we call the ex-pump price at the retail outlets.
All right, so you take the taxes, you add the cost of the fuel, plus your profit.
Exactly.
And that forms
plus
the price.
Our margins.
Your margin. Well, margin is profit, is it not?
Well, margin is what we make out of selling the fuel. Mm-hmm. So for us, for example, taxes and levies constitute about 35% of fuel price. The ex-refinery price, that's the price at which we bought the fuel, constitute about 50-something%. And then our margins constitute 11%. So it's from these margins that we pay our workers, pay regulatory fees, licensing fees, and all that. So our profits is a component of the margins. So it's what we get out of spending from our margins is what is the profit actually, and not the profit.
I'm with you. All right then. So now that we understand how we get to the retail price and the fact that your margin is not all profit, do you actually make profit?
This is a really tough question, but it's actually easy also. Because, like I said, if, let's say, you have the fuel price, a liter, to be, let's say, 5 cedis 38 pesos, our margins constitute about just 11% of that. So let's say you buy fuel worth 50 Ghana cedis. Mm-hmm. What we make as our margins, not profit, as our margins, is 5 cedis 50 pesos. So let's say 44 cedis 50 pesos goes into the ex-refinery price, and then also taxes and levies. Mm-hmm. You know, so, and the thing is that the margins that we are supposed to put in there for us to be able to survive or cope, pay our workers very well, maintain our safety standards and all that, we are not able to put that sort of margin that we need because we empathetically price. Meaning that we look around, see that consumers are complaining, Ghana is hard, wages are low, and all that. And so instead of, say, we put in, let's say, 65 pesos as our dealers and marketers margin, that would shoot the price up. So we actually come down so that consumers can afford the price of fuel.
Now, historically, a reduction in fuel price is not something that Ghanaians are used to. I don't think we can really recall many times when that has happened.
Yeah.
But is it possible? Is this something that OMCs can do? Can OMCs reduce the price of fuel?
We reduce the prices all the time. All the time. For example, this window, so every window is, let's say, a 2-week thing. So let's say between 1st November and 15th November, that's one window. And then the next window is, let's say, 16th to on the 30th of November. This window, per our computations, diesel is supposed to be sold at 5 cedis 71 pesos. Supposed to be sold, meaning that when we input the ex-refinery price, that's how much we bought the fuel from the BDCs.
Yeah.
And then the margins that we are supposed to put in to be able to survive, not actually to make huge profits. The price of diesel should be around 5 cedis 71 pesos.
Right.
But how much is diesel sold now? It's sold around 5 cedis 30-something pesos.
Yeah.
Means that OMCs have actually reduced the price. So we are actually subsidizing the fuel for consumers to be able to buy. So to say that, can OMCs reduce the price? We reduce the prices all the time to the detriment of our own margins.
Okay. Now, there are some common misconceptions out there. People have certain beliefs about OMCs and your abilities. And in fact, I've found it very educational speaking to you. But tell us, can you walk us through some of the common misconceptions people have about OMCs and how they price fuel?
Well, like I said, our margins are very tiny. Last year, for example, OMCs were making margins of about 18 pesos per liter. And with that, you can't survive. You know, you can't pay your workers. You owe GRA all the time. We don't pay GRA from our margins, though. But if your fuel prices are high, consumers won't buy, meaning that you can't get the money to pay the GRA, because we pay the taxes on the volumes that we left, not the volumes that we sold. You see, so consumers have this perception that OMCs want to make enormous profits. We don't. We actually reduce the prices for them to be able to afford it. And regardless of that, regardless of the tiny margins that we make, the CSRs that we take up, GOIL is doing a lot in healthcare, supplying 1,000 beds. Vivo Energy is doing a lot in road safety. Total is doing a lot in the startup of the year, and other things, Star Oil in education, Kabori supporting the prison service, a whole lot that we are doing. So we empathize with the public a lot. And that's why you see the prices the way they are, because actually they are supposed to be higher than they are now.
Well, this is a lot to digest, and no doubt for those of you who have been spending quite a lot on your fuel this month, this is how it all comes together. And as you've heard from the OMCs, it's not within their hands to necessarily reduce the prices. Their margins are small enough as it is. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, you've certainly opened our eyes to how it all works out. Stay tuned. Every week we'll be bringing you even more education on how your fuel prices are calculated. Until then, thank you.
Thank you.